time, we are going to get into this with Jahzara, and we are going to talk about. I want to say the second book, but it's not the second book. Um, we're going to talk about Love of My Life, Jahzara. I probably said it so many different times. You guys forgive me. You forgive me. Please forgive me. I know people say that's enough forgiveness, but let's get into it. What you have is a doctor, Gia Black. That's one of your characters. She goes with this roughneck, I'll say, and Matthew Ty Anderson, ex-police officer, self, and some abusive relationships. Let's talk about Gia.
Okay. I'm I'm hearing I'm sorry, I'm hearing you like twice. Like I yeah, I was hearing like a lag, but now I don't hear it anymore, so I'm glad. So I know you said let's talk so Gia is a psychiatrist and she deals with a lot of trauma and helping people with their trauma. And the irony of it is she can help people heal, but she needs to heal. And that hasn't happened for her. And so that's one of the issues in the book that she needs to heal, but she can't heal because Taboo, her boyfriend, is holding the secret over her head. And she's having to deal with that. And I think fear is such a big thing because she's fearing what happens or what would happen if this secret got out. And so he's harboring that over her. And eventually she has to say, is this secret worth my life? Name is Kabu. So she's living with him along with her preteen son.
On, is there a relationship with her son? Hello, Miss Queenie. Thanks. Hey, hey, hey. Thanks for coming on. Is there a relationship with her son and Taboo, or this he just comes by? Does he try to mentor or somehow help her? What is her son's name? Do you? Because I didn't get the son's name on the.
And there is a relationship, it's not a healthy relationship. So Taboo is abusive to Gia verbally a lot, and he's also abusive to Micah. And so they kind of keep this low key, but amongst themselves. And when Micah's dad finds out, then and his dad is a really soft spoken guy, but when he finds out this guy's been, downgrading his son and talking really reckless to him, Michael, the father, um, gets a lot of courage and steps up in a really good, positive way. But it's really not his character to be combative or face on situations. That's really not Michael's style. But for his son, it becomes it.
You said he's an ex cop. Do you give any backdrop on Taibu as to why he is an ex cop?
Mm, the reader will kind of see what's going on with Taboo, and his name is, Taboo is dangerous. Dead giveaway. And yeah, for a reason. I like that. And so the readers begin to see Taboo, and he's. I know last week when we were talking about characters, you asked me about a character that I really couldn't stand, and so we talked about that with that book. And with this book, Taboo is one of those just man, he's a rotten guy.
Um, did Gia meet him during his time of working in the law enforcement? And if so, did he use his power and also his knowledge of how the system worked to also mess with her as well?
Um, I don't want to give out too much information, but Taboo is ordered to see Gia because of something that happened on the job. So she did know him from his career, but Taboo also has ulterior motives for even going to see Gia as a therapist. He could have picked anybody, but when he went to see Gia, he knew exactly what he was doing. It was very calculated.
Psychiatrist prior to dating her, and isn't that against all going with your client?
Things that he holds over her during their relationship is that hey, you crossed some boundaries. And so she didn't mean to fall in love with him per se, but it happened. But Taboo knew exactly what he was doing when he got involved with her. And so his interest in her is not truly love. It's part of a bigger scheme.
You guys, Queenie Clem is out in the audience. That is what our literary ambassador. You guys would want to stay connect with her. She also have some promo things, and she is really good virtually. And hi to AH. Hello from being in here, and I'm not even going to attempt. Hello to you, AZRIL. I don't want to tear it up, but so with Taibu crossing the line, both of them crossing the line from client to getting into a relationship. Is this relationship a hidden relationship? Because I'm trying to figure out if she is a psychiatrist, how can she publicly be with her client?
In fact, Taboo is still seeing the mother of his child and spends a lot of time with the mother of his child and going over to her home, as well as maintaining his presence at home with Gia. Michael, while Infinity was in prison, and it was just a convenient sort of thing. She thought, and well, they both thought they were in love, but not so much, and it kind of fizzled out. And so Michael's not a really main character in the book, but when Gia is hospitalized and fighting for her life, Michael, of course, steps up as a father and takes care of his son as he should, and kind of checks in and out on Gia, but he's not really a main character, but he's he's a good guy. He's a stand-up character.
She's hospitalized. Is this mental abuse or is this a physical, I'm being nosy, taboo type of condition that is the reason why she's in the hospital?
Oh, it's a physical abuse. When Taboo realizes that Gia's character takes a turn, and she's like, "No, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not going to do this anymore." And Taboo is like, "No, nobody walks away from me unless I say they walk away." And Gia's like, "No, I'm leaving," and Taboo's like, "Not alive, you won't."
Infinity. So Infinity, is that the love interest or is Infinity's um Michael's father?
Literally her whole life. Infinity was her brother's best friend, and she was the tag along little sister. So they were kind of like the Three Musketeers little crew type thing. But she's always had a crush on Infinity and always had this love interest in Infinity. And she and Infinity, they tried the dating thing over 10 years ago, prior to this happening, where the story picks up, and it didn't work out. And they both kind of silently said if they ever cross paths again, if they ever had an opportunity to try again at love, they would do it. And so here we are 10 years later, and the opportunity is here, and they're both ready to take that chance.
Writing him, was there times when you couldn't finish what his character role was? Because I haven't read it, but just the fact that you told us a glimpse of a spoiler that she's now in the hospital. What was it like writing Taboo's character?
Kind of fun because it allowed me, I knew I wanted him to be gritty. I knew I wanted him to be the antagonist. I knew I wanted him to be that guy that readers did not like. And so writing his character just was like, what else could I do to push the envelope to make readers not like him? So it wasn't hard. I knew that I wanted him to be unlikable and to be the villain. And I think I pulled him off well.
Character description for him. Maybe he has muscles, maybe he's short and stout. That's what I'm thinking, to just not too tall, intimidated, but enough muscle that, he's an eye candy to carry around. And I don't know, do Gia like edgy guys? Because you mentioned Infinity, it was like a brother sister type tag along thing, to maybe if they meet somewhere around in life and get back together. So was he more edgy? She like edgy guys?
Too. The only thing about Infinity, let me see, I got the cover. So this is Infinity, and this is Taboo.
That hood dude, and he's more like your educated type.
Affluent family. He's gotten into some criminal activity, criminal enterprise activity, and the irony of it is, you saw him on the cover. He doesn't look like that dude. And that is how he is really able to navigate through this scene, because he doesn't look like the dude that would be selling drugs. He doesn't look like he would be doing all of these gritty things. And he's educated. He has a college degree. Infinity gets excitement from criminal activity.
family? Is he like the youngest, middle baby?
Younger sister, but he's the oldest. And he was, his family is affluent. He's coming from a well to do family. He was educated well. He has no reason to be doing any of the stuff that he did. None. He gets a thrill from it.
To impress her.
um, who got killed, and they were running the criminal enterprise in the city together. None of these, none of them have a need for being in this street life. They're good at it. They like it, but they didn't come up, as they say, hard or in the. They didn't come up like that. That's not their story.
Gia, will she take that chance at love, or was she still like this rough, repeated abusive relationships? Is that like someone you know in life? How did you come up with creating Gia? Because that's a lot of people are pieces. We all could be pieces of her.
History is working as a therapist, seeing this type of story where you Gia looks perfectly fine. People would say she looks well put together. You'd never think she was suffering from abuse at home. You'd never think that she was letting this man hold this much power over you. And the fact that she counsels people all the time about how to get out of these situations. So you never think that. And so I think just, knowing people's stories where they're going through things, a lot of things, they look one way on the surface. You know how they say you can't judge a book by its cover. So they look very well put together, but underneath it all, there's some things going on. And so I wanted people to, kind of consider everything you see isn't exactly what you see.
Do I find love? Like you said, do I find love and do I do this? And not getting the help. You are the one that, counsel folks. Well, where's your counsel to yourself? Are you listening to what you tell people? Will she eventually listen? This is a nosy spoiler as well. Will she eventually listen to her own advice?
That moment in the hospital when she wakes up, in the state that she's in, it's literally a wake up call for her. Um, Not just in the literal exact sense that she wakes up, but the and I won't go through the scene because it is very graphic, but when she begins to recall that graphic scene that she went through and her body goes through the healing process, because there's hurt, physical hurt, and then there's that emotional hurt, and she has to she's forced, she doesn't even have to, she's forced now to say, hey, I got to look at real life. I got to look at my situation. There's no more sweeping it under the rug, and I got to deal with it. And so when she deals with her situation, it causes her to have to walk away from a lot of things that she's allowed, that her comfort zone. And so there's this theme of do it afraid. So everything that she's been afraid to deal with, she now has to deal with it face on. There's no more next week, later on when I get to it. She has to deal with it, and she has to do it afraid. And a lot of readers like the do it afraid theme that comes out of this book. They're empowered by her story. It's sad that she's forced to, but she does. And they also see that sometimes there are stories and narratives that we put in our heads, and the situation isn't as bad as we make it. She, you know, true, she's had to deal with some things, and the whole taboo situation. That wasn't a pretty situation, but it didn't have to get to the point that she's in the hospital and has no recourse. It She begins to realize this thing was overhyped in my head, and of course she had taboo, in her ear, hyping it up, but it wasn't as bad as she made it out to be. Um, and my readers love Infinity because a lot of times we talk about falling in love with people, and we think about the dinner and the flowers and all that sweet gushy stuff, but Infinity has to come along and say, hey, Gia's got a whole lot of baggage, and because I love her, I'm here to help her carry the baggage until she can unpack it.
Trauma or physical trauma and being in the hospital, where did that leave her son? In what position? Who took care of him? You know. Mhm.
And Michael's wife, as she was recovering. And when she was able to make a full recovery, then she was able to, assume her motherly duties. But the family, Gia and Micah and Infinity, they leave the city and they go to a city in Michigan where Infinity has a day spa, and they literally start their lives all over, with a fresh start.
How did she speak to you to write her story?
Trapped in a relationship I don't want to be in, and I don't know how to get out. Because if I leave, my life is going to fall apart.
About and then there's a part two to that, and this is a standalone, right? So while what came first? She came first? Did Gia come first? Or did the two books come first? Or was she Gia in between those two stories?
She actually, it's a funny story. 2019, I'm in Vegas having a great time. My literary mentor says, when are you going to write something new? I said, I always wanted to write a love story. She said, you should do it. I said, I don't know. I don't think I could pull it off. I'm kind of scared. She's like, do it afraid. Okay, so that was the first time I heard do it afraid. And so that's when Gia came to me, the story, because I didn't know what this romance story was going to be. And I really did set out to write a mushy gushy story, but my readers know that I'm not sappy like that. You do get a love story in Love of My Life. There is romance here, but it's not that, oh, he swept me off my feet type of thing, and we had a picnic and then we got married a month later. It's not that. I want my readers to take away from this story, that they are empowered to do whatever they set their mind to. Don't overthink things and let your mind trick you out of doing things, and do it afraid. I want them to run with that message. It doesn't mean that there's the absence of fear. It means that you do in spite of the fear. So you don't let fear cause you to be stuck in something or some situation or place. It's okay to be fearful, just don't let it paralyze you.
Gia, are they begging for a sequel? Are they begging for a prequel of her voice? What are your readers saying about Gia?
She leaves her practice and then after she moves to Michigan, because she gives up her practice. She's not practicing anymore. She becomes a motivational speaker and she does really well at that. Hey, Jen, that's my sister.
We thank you, Jazari, for coming here, writing the story. We had fun with the other story. You guys share and swipe and share. This is called the Scout Out Shout Out. If you know of any author, I don't care if they got their book yesterday, do tell them about this show. It is a $35 show. You can do as many books as you want to, but it's per show. And we're really having fun. We do have Monday is a special. This was a special, but normally we do it on Tuesday because are new book releases are released on Tuesday. So this happened to be a special, and she did 2 days. You guys have to go back and look at the replay for the other one. But we do have 2 days, the 21st and the 28th. If somebody is an author out there and they want to get it, if not, then we're going over to our August calendar, which is pretty full. It's just open. So again, thank you for being here. I didn't expect this much juice on this, but I knew something was going to be about this story, especially her being a doctor and also not only that, but a psychiatrist helping others. And as you said, and not able to help herself. So that is a fascinating story. We look forward to more of you. And I got you now, and I have your email address, and we'll continue to talk. I see you have other books. I'm looking forward to. I'm a fan of you now. Just now seeing you, yes. So I am definitely pleased with your writing style. Thank you so much. You are so welcome. Have an amazing day. Thank you all for being on here. We really appreciate you as well. Have an amazing day. And thank you for showing up for you. You're welcome. Bye bye. And hit that X. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for showing up again. This is the Scout Out Shout Out. Our full show is a 3 day show. If you know an author, it is 3 days. It's valued at $250. You get a 3 day show, a 1 hour show, which is scheduled. We have to schedule that so we can have those 3 days. Thank you all for showing up. Thank you, Queenie Clem, for being here. Tranquil, that is the writer here. Jazari, thank you for being here as well and bringing your amazing story. Jennifer, thank you. And Azriel, I hope I said your name right. I'm pretty sure I tore that up. You guys have an amazing day. We are signing off. Bye bye. That's the thing. Thank you.